Hello fellow travelers, my name is SG and welcome to the channel. Today we'll be doing a review of the original Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer movie, the Frankenbass claymation one. I thought it'd be nice to do a Christmas story because it is the first week of December, and I thought why not start with the very first Christmas animated film. So yeah, let's get started, shall we? The Frankenbass Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, while not the first version of the story, it was the most memorable and the most original compared to the others. It originally was a children's storybook back in 1940s, followed by a short cartoon in the 1948 from the Fleischer era. You know, the same people that brought you Betty Boop, Popeye, and all them. And it was just a short, didn't last that long, and clearly was not that far remembered. It was then made into a song that would be sung for generations to come in 1948 to simplify the story in a more popular way. The Frankenbass movie came in the late or to mid 1960s and was the first in a series of different claymations by Frankenbass to hit major theaters. Later on came Santa Claus Coming to Town, so on and so forth. It was so popular it even gained notoriety and became a sequel series such as Rudolph Shining the Year, Rudolph Frosty Christmas in July, Frosty the Snowman, various other ones, and would later give birth to newer and more lesser known projects such as Nestor the Long-Eared Donkey, which I will add is a very good one and I may do later on. But for now, this is the sort of short run of the original Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer story. This version of Rudolph did not really follow the original books nor the original short. They did not have the book at hand at Frankenbass, so they did interpret it a lot in their own way, and honestly it did kind of shine from its own interpretations, its own version of the classic story. The story of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is pretty much what it says in the name. It's about Rudolph, who was born with a red nose. Now, anybody who's heard the song or is even aware of the special, which I'm sure you have, it's a very popular special, you pretty much get the gist of what happens. Rudolph has a red nose, he's born with it, and he's treated like a outcast and a misfit amongst the reindeer, and even Santa seems to overlook his achievements and what he can do, all because he has a red nose. And from there he meets Sherman, who is a elf who wants to be a dentist rather than make toys, and together they decide that they want to go off and run away from home so that they can go find their own fame and glory with their own respected talents and abilities, and find somewhere they are respected themselves. Along the way they meet various people and creatures such as King Moonrazer and the Island of Misfit Toys, Yukon Cornelius, and various other people. The story is very good, very interesting, and has a very simple meaning, but can always be a reference to this day. It is about finding your place in the world, where you fit in, where you're comfortable. Just because you're a misfit doesn't exactly mean you don't belong anywhere, you just have to find where you do fit. That's pretty much the whole meaning of the story. And I think that still goes to people nowadays. There are many references to it, there are many people who can resonate with that story. It's a good story and the animation's very well done. And with that, we'll go into our next topic on it. Now, our main characters consist of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, as I said before, as he is the main character. He himself is a young reindeer who is just trying to find his place in the world, especially since he's been rejected by almost everyone he knows, including his parents, Santa, and other reindeers. The only one that has accepted him is another reindeer, a doe by the name of Clarice, who has seemed to like him and understand him. We go through his journey throughout this special, and can't help but feel encouragement for him. He is a very likable character overall. And then we also get Hermie, who is along for the ride, and he is more of a sidekick character to Rudolph. He is not a main focus, but he's definitely a big part of the storyline, where he is also feeling like an outsider in this situation, where even though he knows that certain elves, or all elves, are required to just make toys, he himself wants to be a dentist and to thrive in a way that he understands that he wants. They join together because they both feel like they are misfits in the North Pole. They both have their own wants and desires. Some know exactly what they are, and the other one really doesn't. But they do know they want the love and respect that they feel they need. And that's what kind of makes them likable characters, because it's something I think any one of us can really understand. We all want to be somewhere we can understand, that we are cared for, and that we can thrive in. The other characters themselves are a bit odd, like Yukon Cornelius, who is in the North Pole looking for gold, but then automatically said he's looking for peppermint. He is a fun character to have, and has kind of grown to like both Rudolph and Hermie. The rest, I can't really say make a deeper impact in the story, so those are the only ones I'm going to focus on right now. I do say go see the original Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer movie. I'm sure you'll like it if you haven't seen it. And if you have seen it, go check it out still. It's, Christmas. And you can find it here on YouTube if you want. I will say, for as old as this animation is, it still holds up. It's still really interesting to look at, it's still very fun, and it knows what it's trying to accomplish. There isn't an unnecessary movement in it, mainly due because it's made of, clay, and they had to use the resources sparingly, and every scene had to be shot at least a few times for it to become a full-on scene. So, this is very well done for its time. I understand that it may not be everybody's thing, because animation has progressed so much, but it's still worth a watch, and it's still very fun to even look at. Now, there aren't that many references to be made in this animation because, like I said, it was the first of its kind, other than its original source material. So if you want to say that the references made in it are from the song and or the original story, then that's pretty much what you can take from it. Other than that, there isn't really anything else. In fact, I would say that a lot of other sources have used this as material, such as the Orville has used the same story in season 1 to reference Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, to talk about differences in cultures and so on and so forth. So you will find many of them out there. That's just one I can name off the top of my head. But yeah, feel free to leave a comment like talking about another reference that the Rudolph has come up or has at least been talked about in the past. So now let's move on, shall we? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer overall is a fun experience and really takes me back to my childhood specifically. I remember being able to watch it almost every Christmas. And while its history may be a little dodgy, it may have taken its own liberties from its own source material, I could tell that they treated this with as much care as they possibly could, trying to make something entertaining while at the same time making something different and or new. It definitely still has the song that a bunch of people have heard or have, at least sung probably in kindergarten, or so on and so forth, or seen in many different other Christmas specials. But this is unique because it was, like I said, the first of its kind. It was the dawn of the Christmas special, because then after that you got Santa Claus Coming to Town, Nestor the Long-Eared Donkey. You had different claymation material coming out, all because of this special. And it does have a universal meaning to itself about wanting to be accepted, about wanting to fit in, and then using your own strengths to make yourself a name in the world. So I think there is a lot that people can take out of it still to this day. It's a fun story, the characters are endearing, and I do suggest seeing it, whether you're a teenager, a small kid, or even an adult who just wants to capture the Christmas vibe again. Like I said before, you can catch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer here on YouTube, or you can catch it on Peacock or Amazon. I'm sure there's many different places you can see it. Those are just a few to name off the top of my head. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. I am going to start doing some Christmas stuff. If you have a suggestion for me to do, please leave it down in the comment section. I would really like to hear if there's anything you want me to do. There's, of course, Santa Claus Coming to Town, This Along Your Donkey, or if you want me to do something else like Fred Claus, The Santa Claus, stuff like that, please just let me know. Or, if anything upcoming you want me to do. I'm even taking some obscure ideas, like maybe Batman Returns or Die Hard, some stuff like that. And yeah, thanks for listening. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. I would really appreciate it if you subscribe, though. That way we can reach 100 before Christmas. And yeah, see you guys next time.